Okay, we had a little technical difficulty and one of my segments didn't record. So I wanted to explain to you guys where this all came from, where these patterns came from, so that they become easy. When you're doing a caged, you do C, it would come out, for you, it would come out F or something like that. You have a shape, a cage shape to play. It's made out of only these two things, and that would be an S3S and an S2L. The pentatonic cage shaped scales are only made out of that. That's all they're made out of. C, C is an S2L, then into an S3S. It has to warp. So the R2, there's your R, your root with the C. It comes out of the open. And then it does the first half of an S3L, which is a repeat of the first string. Okay, the C. And then it goes to A. That starts on 5. So it's going to only play the top two members of that S3S. And then it's going to go into, so then it goes into its S2L. Now we're going to warp over the S3S as it starts again. So it's 2, 3, 5, 6 warped over 1. Okay, so it's all just these two patterns in the cage. From C to A we go to G. G starts on the 6, so the lowest string of the G pattern is going to be the top part of the S2L, because that starts on the 6th. Alright, the G starts on the 6th. G shape. Alright, I can't give you a theory for that right now, because it's weird that the A shape starts on the 5th and the G shape starts on the 6th. It seems like it would be the other way around, but we have to cover this and keep it simple for now. The Aeolian minor starts on the 6th. You see how the Aeolian minor starts on the 6th, but it takes on the G shape, because the G shape, believe it or not, if you just played a G down here, alright, the E would be the 6th of the G. Okay? E minor is the 6th, or a natural minor G. So in the G shape, we almost got sidetracked. We got the 6th root. Okay, then we start the S3L over again. 2, 3, 5, 6, root 2. Now it warps over, both of these warp over. So instead of root going straight up to 4, root's going to go to 3, because 3 is over. And you got an S2L right on top. So we use these two shapes here to make the pentatonic cage scales. Okay, I'm all over the place with my fingernails. Sorry about that. So we've established this, and we add the 4 and the 7s to go from pentatonic to diatonic. So now with the C shape, okay, we go 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 R. Then we go into the S3L there, right? To the D is 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th. But now 7R2 warps over. 7R2. And then the repeat of 3, 4. Because we have it warping over those top two strings, the 7R2 and the 3, 4, 5. So we can use them to make diatonic scales. So let's say we want to make a diatonic scale in the D shape. The D shape is way up here. It's the last cage shape, right? So the diatonic scale starts on the 2, all right, because 2 is the Dorian minor, all right? It's the Dorian minor. In root, if you follow the same major scale from root, you're getting the Dorian minor. And you might ask yourself, how are we going to get a C major with the Dorian minor scale? Because if you start from the bottom string, there it is. Just works out that way. So each, not so much each one of the 7 has its own cage shape, but 5 of the 7 have their own cage shape. So whereas the Phrygian minor third is from the 3rd, okay? It gives you the C shape. So that has to do with, I found that stuff out by first just playing an E, then a D minor, then a C minor, and an F. When you start a D here, for you it's going to sound like a B, but then you go to the 2nd. So now I'm just staying in the E shape. You go to the 2nd position. Guess what? This is the root. This is the 2nd. This is the 3rd. Okay? That's how I derived it. So that's how your Lydian starts on the 7th. The Aeolian starts on the 6th. That's how I stumbled onto it. That's and that's just a bottom string logic. Okay? And we don't want to play these scales to the full, because you'll find out, guess what, if you play the scales to the full at all times, you can start that bottom string on any string. So looking at, let's say we're looking at the 2 here, all right, we're gonna do a diatonic on the 2 right there. It's pretty much going to be a Dorian minor, right? Be like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, root 2. But I can start that, say I want to do an E minor Dorian minor. It would be, okay, and I could maybe hit the warp at a different time, at a different place. So if I start that D minor closer to the, that E minor closer to the warp, what do we get? Guess what that is? That's C shape. That's C shape right there. So I know that this is the root. This A minor is the root. All right, and we started, remember, on the E. What is E to A minor? It's the 5th. So that's interesting though. I don't know how that works out. I'll tell you honestly, sometimes I get confused. And I always worry about what it's sounding like to you people. So, and we'll talk about how we added these 7s together. Actually, I'm going to go into one more segment with this. So let's just start this. So trust me on this, we've got these guys here. And we can make our major scales by putting them together. One on top of the other, on top of the other, on top of the other. Correct?